Hi guys, wanted to give you an afternoon update of this day that I just had. It was quite the day. Sucked. Glad it's over. That's part of it anyway. And went out with a bang. After the break that we had earlier in the day, the kids went over to the River kids went over to the Army Corps of Engineers to meet, and there apparently wasn't enough room in the room that they were meeting in, so not all of us could go, and adults had to stay behind. So I was bummed out about that because after hearing about the evil Army Corps of Engineer all day long, I wanted to really kind of check this place out, these people out, and see what I thought about them and how they respond to other people and that kind of thing. But couldn't. But they are going to be in Stewart on Thursday, so if anybody can make that, that would be great. There's a public input meeting at 6 o'clock at the Blake Library. That's Thursday, June 28th. And earlier in the day at 11 o'clock, there's somewhere too, but I have to double check where. I can post it. So I would really like to go to one of those to try to get some input and see, again, just what they have to say about this aspect. So anyway, after that, we went to Bill Nelson's office, which was like a breath of fresh air. I was like talking to the staff. I was breathing really deeply. And then Mr. Nelson came out and actually, he came out and, well, I posted, I think, the picture and the video. So that was good that he spoke to everything. And I'm sure they were pissed off that I brought up what I did, but oh well. So then the next appointment was with Marco Rubio. And I thought, there's no way. He never shows up for anything, no matter who you are. And we went in, and sure enough, we spoke with a staff member who was pretty mind-blowing because he's apparently this really big environmental guy. He's got a PhD in ecological studies, I think he said it was, and well, people just couldn't stop talking about what a rock star he was. He worked for Mast before Rubio, and he was so wonderful, and so I guess he moved right up. And I'm just thinking, how does somebody like that work for these people? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyway, he did also speak pretty interestingly because he talked about how his dad, like 10 years ago, went to a few places around Florida to check out to live, and he got to Stewart and really liked it, but then saw the water and found out about the water deal and said, well, forget it, I'm not moving there. And that was 10 years ago. And he sort of just relayed that such a bummer. No awareness of, shouldn't we have gotten somewhere in 10 years? And maybe we have, maybe we're a little further. I tend to think not, but okay. Anyway, the next comment that he made again in passing that caught me was basically thanking the River Kids for being there and showing such interest because, the people up here really don't show interest in us or the environment. And I heard that a couple times today about how, other people in other parts of the country just have no idea about our ecological situation and don't really care. And apparently that, transforms over into legislators, which I get that you may not know about it, but the blatant not caring. I don't know. I kind of care about California wildfires and Hawaii volcanoes erupting and I'm not saying they have to be experts on our state, but and just the way that these representatives, our representatives, spoke to, doesn't really get a lot of attention up here. I don't know. Just kind of made the point of we need to be louder and speaking out. And the interesting thing too was that this whole day, nobody did. It was all, and I get that it's with kids and everything, but nobody ever said, well, what about this? Or that's problematic. Or I shouldn't say not at all. The two close things were one was, about the advisory signs coming out. And the other one was, oh, I know. The other one was somebody mentioned, why aren't our animals deemed as important as some other ones? They say they're trying to protect other animals, but that threatens ours. So she's like, why are our animals less important? So that was the extent of the pushback on anything that's going on environmentally, and never mind any other issues. That was just not going to come up from anybody other than me. So, I just found that frustrating, disappointing, but whatever. So lo and behold, in walks Marco Rubio. I was like, the man exists. And he kind of seemed to me to be a little bit better of a, just a different style. You know, Brian's got his bullshit. And Rubio really did kind of speak a little bit more folksy and down to earth a little bit until he said, I don't want to, I'm not, ragging on the Army Corps of Engineers. You know, they're Army, they're engineers. And, they're not horrible or whatever he said. He's like, but, it's like they don't like to be held accountable to anything. I literally laughed out loud. I couldn't. I was so good all day, you guys. I was really like calm, respectful, appropriate, and then at the right moment I would put in like my very appropriately placed zinger or whatever, and I just burst out laughing. So that was that. And then everybody just went on and everybody thanked him for what he was doing. These words came out of somebody's mouth. Thank you for all you're doing. And I'm sitting there thinking, I can't let this motherfucker out of the room without saying something. You resistor peeps have been working him for the past year and a half. And he has had the audacity to just shut everybody down. And I'm in a room 3 feet away from him. And I'm just going to let him walk out? Fuck that. So they were really trying to rush him out at that point. He had to go. Our people had to go. And then, so he's already going. And then Gail Harrell went over to speak. And of course, a representative, of course, I'm going to give her the opportunity and whatever. So, and they're like hurrying him out the door at this point. And that's when I put the camera up and said what I said. If you saw the video that I posted, and I said, how about legislation to stop the polluters and the polluting instead of just always trying to clean dirty water? And you can't just target one little place of environmentalism. You have to affect everything. And so what about your environmental votes, Marco Rubio? And he stood there and told me that he doesn't think they're bad, that he's like this big environmental steward. His record from the League of Conservation Voters, I think that's the name of it, right? 0. He got a 0. Brian Mast got 23% approval based on his votes. And Rubio got 0. That was in 2017. His lifetime rating is 5%. So give him that. These people just look right at you and just